How's everyone doing today?
Very well.
Great.
Excellent. Let's go ahead. We're going to do a quick sound check around the room. Kelley, let's go ahead and start with you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sounds good. Cheryl?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Excellent. And then is it Kim?
Yes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Kim, just keep in mind, because you're in kind of in a reflective environment. If you're like me and talk with your hands, if you hit the desk or anything like that, we'll hear that in your microphone. So just be mindful as you're talking. And otherwise, everybody, just another reminder that if you have your cell phone nearby, if it's on silent, or make sure it's turned to silent. If it's on vibrate, that will be picked up by the microphone.
Thank you for that reminder.
And Josh, I have a fan on low. If you can hear it, I'll turn it off. I don't know.
Give me 1 second. Let me turn up the volume real quick just so I can see if I hear it or not. No, I'm not hearing it right now. You should be
Okay.
fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got a fan. I got a fan.
You got lots of fans.
I didn't think of that, Kim. Oh my God.
All right. We got about 40 seconds before we go live.
Okay, great.
Are we doing callers today?
No, we're going to do callers next week because just Cheryl and I are going next week.
Not a problem. Just want to double check ahead of time. All right, everybody. As soon as you hear that music, we will be live. Have a good show.
Thank you.
Welcome to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed with mediums Kelley Eckhardt and Cheryl Murphy. Over the next hour, you'll hear engaging conversations that will guide you in your own journey of personal growth and transformation. Now, here are your hosts, Kelley Eckhardt and Cheryl Murphy.
Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday today. Welcome to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, a wonderful radio show that Voice America is hosting for us. We thank you so much, and the Empowerment Channel. I'd like to say good afternoon to everyone. We are on part 2 of our episode today around near-death experiences. So the question is, do we really die? I want to say hello to my colleague, Kelley Eckhardt, first, and Kelley's going to be introducing our special guest today. Hi, Kelley.
Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Kim. Thank you for coming on our show today. And let me introduce Kim, because Kim's an amazing medium that we know professionally. And we've all also authored a book together, right, Kim?
That's right.
Yeah.
The Last Breath.
Yeah, thank you. I can never get it out of my mouth whenever I talk about it. So Kim Copeland, she is a professional psychic medium, a teacher, and an author. She has over 20 years of hospice nursing, where she has walked between the worlds. She has witnessed an array of spiritual supportive helpers who assist with the transition from the other side. Her mediumship and psychic gifts developed from her work as an energy medicine practitioner over 25 years ago, where she visioned angels and departed loved ones around the clients. She is passionate about assisting souls discover love, support, and healing from the spirit, and assist discovering the true nature of themselves and their unique gifts. Kim offers messages from departed loved ones, angels, guides, and pets, and teaches a variety of intuitive development classes. Her teachings and readings are offered with love, divine connection, and soul purpose. And today, Kim's going to share many stories from her hospice work and her work as a medium and an energy healer.
Oh, thank you.
Kim.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And thank you for the honor and privilege of being here to share this space with you guys. I feel like we're creating, it's like the sacred community that you guys are blossoming into these beautiful, even more beautiful souls every year. I just see this like, wow, I'm just like honored, so honored. And I've been, like I said before, just a few minutes ago, I saw you guys do mediumship demonstration last week, and you were kicking it.
Oh,
You were rocking,
thank
you were
you.
rocking. So anyway, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, that's so sweet. Cheryl, how do you want to start? I mean, I think we should have Kim tell us all about
Yeah,
her hospice work or what?
Kim, first off, Kim, thank you for being a hospice nurse and thank you
Yes.
for being a nurse. Okay.
Oh,
It's such a joy to have you with us and you're very, very special. I want to ask you about your work as you like, how did you get into hospice work? And then if you
Yeah.
tell us like, how long have you been doing it and what brought you to that field?
sure. Well, I will say that I kind of grew up in a metaphysical family. My mom, my mom's side, they were all intuitives, mediums, channelers. My mom was an astrologer, numerologist, but she died when she was only 31.
Oh,
And I also had a lot of moving around between age, I don't know, I think I went to 13 schools, right? But when she died, and I was 12 when she died. There was a point where I was like, oh, where did she go? So I think that was, even though I was reading books, I was already exposed to the metaphysical world. And I was reading all of her books. Instead of Nancy Drew, I was reading astrology, Linda Goodman's
my
sun
gosh.
signs, whatever it was back then. Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think that was a start of like, where did she go? And then I kind of put it away. And then later in my 30s, I kind of, I just was opened up again. And I saw a medium on TV. It was Rosemary Altea,
Oh,
the
my.
Eagle and the Rose. And she was the one, it was like the sparked it. And then I just like, whoa, but I was already doing nursing. I was already studying healing touch. I had become a massage therapist. I had been studying Reiki, the traditional kind of healing. There's different healing modalities. So I had already been doing that. So I was interested in healing. And then I was a home care nurse. And so when I started this journey of mediumship, then all of a sudden, I don't know, I saw an article in the newspaper. Oh, there's hospice and they have dogs and I love dogs. And so they have dogs as therapy. And I thought, okay, that's where I want to work. And then it just started. And my first in that wonderful first hospice in Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak Hospice, and that was 1997. I was so lucky. I was able to do shamanism with the patients. And they were so open to use alternative or complementary therapies in the holistic healing of a person who's dying. So that was just a wonderful start to the hospice work for me. And then I just have developed it since. Now, when I started seeing angels and in departed loved ones and pets and ETs and big angels, little angels, all different kinds of angels, Mother Mary, Jesus, Saint Francis,
fairies.
the fairies, the gnomes, right? That really was when I was doing energy work, and that's when they were coming more. But then I was kind of set and to know what it feels like to have them come. Right. And so then with the hospice work, then I would just have things like, I'd be knocking on somebody's door, and, just a spirit would be like tapping me on the shoulder. Like, I remember in particular, this one man, I was getting ready to walk in. She was in her 80s, and she was actively dying. She was already in a coma, but he came and he just like so adamant, please let her know I'm here. I could hear him, and he showed me a bouquet of red flowers. And so, and that was the first time for me to meet the family. And you have to be very careful when you're saying, okay, I'm a medium and I do hospice. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you my business card. You don't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a very fine line. But I just felt so compelled because he was so strong that I told them, I said, well, there's a man that brought red flowers to her. This is what I told the family. They were so happy to hear this because it was her husband who they'd only been married 3 years. It was her third husband. They would they met online. I think she was in Oregon. He was in California. He moved up there to get married, and it was her favorite husband. And he had on speed dial the florist, and every week she got red flowers.
Oh,
and
I love it.
It was just, so special. So they, it's comforting for the family to know. And then after she passed, which is just a couple of days later, so I'm tuning in to her, and I see the two of them walking in a garden, holding hands, and they're just talking, like catching up, like she's telling him what's been going on. Of course, he already knows, but in her mind, I guess, I don't know. It's just like they're just connecting again.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I
So
love
sweet.
you're using your shamanism, you're using your mediumship, and it sounds like you've studied a lot of modalities, the Reiki. So you have
Shamanism.
a lot to offer, and just to hold space for these people, in their time of needing comfort. And then, can I just ask you, do you still connect with people that you've helped in the past? Do you get to ask that question a lot?
No, I don't get that asked a lot, but what's interesting, today I was in a mentorship program. I'm in with Colin Bates. And so we were working, I was with another medium, we were working, and she brought through a hospice patient, and which actually doesn't come in very often. And he was saying how appreciative he was of the work that I had. I don't even really honestly barely remember him, but he came, he was there.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
then my mom was there too. And what she said, and she's kind of like a party planner. So she helps me. I know she's always there. And so she helps the party, it's like the party planner here on earth, but she does it on the other side. She helps organize.
Wow.
And she said, and he said together, they came in together, that what I do, or what anybody does here, really, it's important because you're like sending them off into a new world, the new adventure. And it's really important how they are sent off to the beginning of their new life. And so, I believe we need to look at death as more of a celebration, and and congratulations, and they did it, and they made it. And I know you guys believe that. But a lot of people don't, especially in America. But maybe shows like this will help people realize that it really is a celebration. And what we do here, sending them off, is important as they go forward on their spiritual journey, in the next adventure.
Yeah. I love that you stated, it was a little bit earlier in the beginning, that it's a complimentary service. So to me, I think, the medical world a lot of times kind of pushes this stuff out, but why can't they all work together?
Yes, I know.
Music is also, another thing that helps people transition.
Yes.
Certain tones, things like that. Like all of it. There's this whole, like, they should all be working together to create that environment of peace and just feeling totally supported as they're leaving this world.
Absolutely, Kelly. So I think it's important to set that sacred space here.
Yeah.
And you're right, music does it. There's certain music that's a little better. Harp music, there's something called music anthology, which plays to the rhythm of the respirations and it helps become, move them into transition. Also, they say the simpler music is better, like lullabies or country music. But anyway, yes, all that. One of, I find that when you set the sacred space with intention, whether it's colors, you can use beautiful silk scarves. I always tell people, I mean, if they'll listen to me, turn off the TV, right? Maybe put a beautiful blanket or something over the TV if they have a TV in that room. And then maybe use essential oils, flowers, those sorts of things really help set the stage.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
It was my best friend died about 5 years ago. And we were all with her, and they moved her from the hospital to a hospice facility. And I was trying to set the stage for her in her room, and I had my essential oil sprays, and I was spraying some around, and I overdid it. And everybody was like, what's going on in here? We had to like open up the doors and air her room out. And she was not quite aware, but I could hear her giggling in my head because
Oh,
I knew she was in a coma at the time. But
Yeah.
I kept feeling her spirit, with me, laughing
Mm-hmm.
at me because it's something I would do. Like I was just spraying it, and everybody's like, don't spray your essential oils. And I was like, well, they're not looking. I'm spraying.
yeah.
Like they'll never notice.
I so overdid it. It was so bad.
But
And
it's
I just
nice.
think it
Go
was
ahead.
funny because I could hear her laughing at me, in my head,
Nice.
like just like spirit, right?
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, it's funny that when you open the doors and the windows, see, that gives the angels a place to come and go. It's easier, right?
Nice.
So maybe that's
Nice.
why you accidentally did it.
Maybe. And the amazing thing was, and I love this, is that her hospice nurse walked in and I saw two spirits with her.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that that was her mother and grandmother.
Yeah.
And I started crying because it just got overwhelmed because I felt, okay, these people they're loving my friend. And they told me, and so I asked her, I said, was your mom a hospice nurse and your grandmother? She's like, yes. And I'm like, well, they're both with you. It
Oh
was
my
amazing, and they were helping her. And all of their job over there in the spirit world was to help everyone transition with, helping their daughter, the granddaughter and the daughter.
Yeah.
Right. But they were on the other side helping the people. Like, this is what you need to do here. I'm helping you along, kind of like angels,
Yes.
and that was like
Oh,
their mission. Right?
nice. I'm getting the
Yeah.
chills as you're saying that, as you're telling
So
that story.
I just felt a lot of love from them and around surrounding my friend, and it made me feel a lot of peace. So it
Mhm.
is a beautiful thing to be a hospice nurse. I think that it's a gift that you're giving to
Mhm.
others, but it's also difficult, for you, I imagine. How do
Mhm.
you deal with that, that part of it?
Yeah. Well, well, you have to have limits. You have to have boundaries. You have to have limits. When I first started, I had no boundaries. I was working all the time. I brought my dogs to see the patients. I remember one lady, she was basically in a coma, but I had a standard poodle that, oh, can I bring my dog to see her? And the lady woke up out of her coma.
Oh, that's
We
beautiful.
just put her hand on there and she woke up. So things like, so anyway, I was, but then as time goes, you have to realize you just can't live like that all the time. You can't, it's too much.
Yes.
So, and I still do hospice about 1 day a week. I quit for a couple of years and I needed that break after so many years. And so I just started back about a year ago, just very little, partly because there's such a nursing shortage right now.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And I like working with the angels. I feel like, when I go into a room, first it feels very sacred. You can feel the angels, and that's how often I will bring up the subject if a family, if I don't know the family, right, and I don't know where they are and their religious beliefs or anything, do they even believe in angels? And I might just say, do you feel angels in here? Because I usually do. And then I'll see the lights, the angel lights. And then they'll say, yes, oh, we do. And I can't, yes, I did. I didn't know what that was or whatever. And then, it kind of opens a conversation. But it's wonderful working in that, Mother Mary too. She's like, to me, my right hand woman. I feel her on my right side a lot. And I want to make sure that, she's invited into this conversation.
Always, right?
Beautiful. Because she's very much present also it's just lovely being in that, even though it's drudgery sometimes, right? Because some of it's not very fun and it's not beauty. The physical body is not beautiful as it's dying. I mean,
Yeah, it's not. It was very hard for me. She passed shortly after my son.
Oh,
and it was
my
my best friend of like almost 40 years, like since we were children.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really hard. I mean, it happened in the middle of the night. We were there day and night, but we'd go to our hotel rooms and somebody would stay at night and we'd have like turns, right? So of course the night I'm not there is the night she passed at like 3 a.m. But I just got up and went right over there. I mean, I was probably there maybe 20 minutes after she passed. And it just like, I saw her and it wasn't her anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, it wasn't her.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like the body was done. It was, you could just, it was weird. And I thought I'd be traumatized from seeing that because I was traumatized from my sons.
Mhm.
but I wasn't. I felt at peace because I could feel her surrounding me, and I'd already communicated with her before she had passed in the little chapel that they had. I was meditating and she came the day before. And then the day before as well, right after that meditation, I went in and she'd been in a coma for 4 days, and she opened her eyes and mouthed, "I love you," and squeezed
Oh,
my hands.
oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
The day before that, she had passed after I just meditated and saw her.
Wow.
So it was kind of like at that point I knew that was it. Like she was leaving any minute, like anytime.
Mhm.
But
So Kim, can you reassure our listeners and from your experience that no one dies alone? Is that
Mhm.
right? Like
Oh,
know that from your
totally.
experience as a hospice nurse, right? Because you're
Oh, yeah.
seeing their loved ones or their angels or the
Oh,
Mother
yeah.
Mary.
Absolutely. Nobody dies alone. Never.
Oh.
Never. It doesn't even matter what their belief system is. It doesn't matter if they're pushing away everybody, or they had no friends on earth, right? Because sometimes that's what happens.
some people are, yeah.
But there's always spirit there, always, and angels and departed loved ones. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I don't normally see guides, which is very interesting. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Maybe because guides are part of us, our soul. And so maybe that's why I'm not seeing, but I see the angels, I see animals, I see ET sometimes, I see, did I say pets already? The pets? Yeah.
Oh,
So they come and sit at the bed, on the bed, I've seen a horse, I've seen hamster, I've even seen a goldfish
oh.
in spirit waiting.
Wow.
It's so sweet. And then adding to Kelly's statement that she made, because Kelly, you said you were connecting with your friend right away. Kim,
Before she passed, even.
is that what you've also experienced,
Yes,
Kim? Is connecting with people on the
right
other
away.
side is okay on the other side
Oh,
right away?
yeah. I mean, I know these, you hear some people say, oh, you got to wait 6 months. I mean, I don't know where that's coming from.
I don't
but
either.
That's,
I think that's more for the us, because some people are extremely emotional after their
yeah,
loss of their loved one, and it's not a good time for them to get a reading.
yeah, right.
I
But,
think, but not everybody's like that. But
no,
some people are, because I've had some clients where it was like, you know what? They couldn't stop crying hysterically, and it's difficult to read for them because their emotions are so strong. And as an
yeah,
empath, you want to just reach out and hug them, not connect with spirit.
yeah, right. And maybe that's what they need at that moment, rather than a
Mhm.
reading. But
Yeah, it's too hard on them, I think. Some, not everybody, but some.
yeah, but no, for me, even when somebody's in a coma, I'm getting stories, I'm
Yes.
connecting. I mean, I remember one lady, she was in a coma, and I was just talking to the husband. I said, well, she's telling me this. I mean, I just kept feeling she's telling me these stories about their life and their dog, and I'm just repeating what she's saying. And he said, yes, 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 that's right. And then when she passed, I think it was like 2 days later, she was there still. I mean, I was still easy. And I've been to deaths, where the spirit that just died, well, I mean, I'm not even died. I mean, you don't even want to, just transition, just left their body. They're just like you and I,
Yeah.
talking. I mean, it's easy to connect. I
I
find it
have a
easier.
I have a very interesting question, because I love this subject. And I know that this is like kind of a mood point, maybe, with a lot of like people in our industry, a lot of mediums
Mm.
and healers and things. And I love that you have both modalities, right, going on. What is your thought on somebody getting stuck between this world and that world,
Yeah.
and not being with their loved ones, and being confused or lost about where they're at?
Yes. Okay. Good question. I think the majority of people, no problem. They go, right?
Mm.
I have heard, and I've had an experience with one lady, for instance. She had 5 grandchildren. She was really adamant she didn't want to die.
Mm.
And I think it depends. Again, we're preparing people and this makes a difference on where and how they're going to adjust. And that's why this is important. But so she didn't want to leave the grandkids. So she came to, I was meditating one day, and she came to me, and this is like 2 weeks after she died. And she said, Kim, I need your help. I haven't crossed over. like, oh my gosh, really? And so then I said, well, I mean, I knew her well, and I knew and I saw so I knew her dad because I saw her dad behind her when she was like even a month before she died. Her dad was always on the back of her, there with her, but she didn't want to acknowledge that at all. But anyway, I said, well, if you go get your angel wings, you'll be able to come back and be with your grandkids. And she said, oh, I mean, really, it was just that fast. She said, oh, okay. I mean, and then I saw two blue angels. They came behind her. They were about the size of her. They came behind her and they were touching her bottom, kind of, pushing her forward. They said, and I heard them in there just telepathically. I heard them say, hurry before she changes her mind.
That's great.
And then I was in a circle, a mediumship circle. She came back and she came back and another medium and we saw her and she said, I have my angel wings, and I saw angel wings on her.
Oh,
Isn't that nice?
Beautiful.
My son came to me right away, and he was a blue angel
Mm.
in a hoodie. He was wearing a hoodie, and he had these huge blue angel wings, and he would wrap them around me in my meditation, because he would come in my meditation, and it was like I was being healed from top to bottom. And then at night, when he went to bed, we did his life review together with us, just me and him in the desert.
Wow.
And I don't know why we were in the desert, but we were in the desert. And it was beautiful. And then he would turn into a bird and fly off into the universe and say, I'm free, Mom.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I always get, I think, I don't know why I get so into this thing of like, do they get stuck? Because I don't believe that we get stuck.
Mhm.
I think, but I'm beginning to like wonder though, because some people have had these experiences. I've never experienced that with any spirit, but if
Yeah.
anybody's ever going to get stuck, it's going to be my mom.
Oh.
Because
She's stubborn.
She's stubborn. We don't know how she's still living. It's been for the last 15 years. The doctors say it's a miracle. She should not be alive.
Uh-huh.
Congestive heart failure, COPD, cancer for 15 years. Almost up until like 2 years ago before COVID, she had a collapsed lung 2 or 3 times a year, and they kept saying she wasn't going to make it through the night, but never gives up. She's bedridden, can't even walk.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
she says she's afraid to die
Okay.
and does
Yes.
not want to go and does not want to leave.
What can you
Right.
help people who are afraid to die?
Yeah.
What do you tell
Yeah.
them? How do
Right.
you?
I mean, I've tried with her, telling her it's a beautiful place. Everybody's waiting for her. I know that she's had experiences over there because my mom's a medium.
Mhm.
And she's got a little Alzheimer's, but she talks about going to the spirit world and going to see me. And I'll be in Seattle at some workshop, and some medium's bringing my mom through. And my sister's like, Mom says she was just with you. And I'm like, yeah, well, she was in a reading.
Wow.
So I know she's kind of in here and there, but she
Yeah.
won't die.
Okay. And the most stubborn are like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the ones who have the fear.
She's afraid. Yes.
Yeah, you
terrified.
might ask the spirit world. Here's a couple options. Ask the spirit world to give her a presentation of something that she can't resist.
Mm.
Change the scenery, maybe, because if there's one person or there's something, maybe it's chocolate cake on the spirit side. Maybe it is, apple pie or whatever. Maybe it's a dog or something like that, or a beautiful garden. So something that really will entice her across.
And I think her fear is that she was not a good mom.
Uh-huh.
She did her best, but she had mental illness.
Uh-huh.
And I think because of the mental illness, there's this huge fear that she's going to go to hell, or she's going to see people that she does not want to see because she never forgave them in life.
Yes.
And because I think her fear of that is that they've been coming to visit her.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because they've come to see me and tell me to help her.
Yep.
And then when I tell her, I don't want to talk to that person.
I've seen that. I had another lady similar, 804.
Oh my gosh.
And she wouldn't die. And then she started to die. And there was a man at the end of her bed. He was wearing a suit. And when they start wearing their formal clothes, I know it's time. I know it's within 24 hours when they've changed their casual clothes to their formal clothes.
Mhm.
And I saw him, and he was a handsome man. And she said, I don't want to see him, because she was worried that, she wasn't nice to him on earth.
Yeah.
And so so she came back. She was so close to dying. She came back, and there was also a big angel at her head. But so the next time, about 2 weeks later, when she started to die again, the man wasn't there, but just the angel was. So I don't know if something like that, or you
I
do a
don't know.
mind journey of forgiveness, a mind journey to let her go through the motions of forgiveness, and like everything is forgiven. Yeah, I know you've
Okay.
already probably done something
I've
like that.
tried some stuff. I think it's difficult for me now, especially, but I've tried. 1 minute to break. So let
Okay.
me say this: we're going to go on a break in a minute.
Mhm.
After the break, you know, oh my gosh, I just lost my thought. Am I
I know.
getting old? It was just,
Well, this is an amazing topic, everyone. You're
I
listening,
know.
Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. We're talking about near-death experiences. We're with Kim Copeland, a hospice nurse. You can always check out Kim's website on mediumkim.com. And we'll be right back after these messages to talk more with Kim Copeland. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
You're clear.
That was so funny. I had something to say and it just like left me. So we still are live on Facebook, everybody. So
Right.
everybody on
You were talking,
Facebook, thanks for watching us.
yeah, you were talking about a mind journey, I thought, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I think it was my mom. Like, I think there's been times where she was near death because I've been in the room with her. And she kept saying, "Who's that man at the end of my bed? Why
Yeah.
is that guy reading a book to a child over there in the corner? Who are all
Mhm.
these people in here?"
Mhm.
And as I was tuning into them, they were her family,
Yeah.
but she wasn't recognizing them.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I just felt them all trying to help her, but she refused.
Yeah. Well, what about little lorazepam? I'm serious.
I don't have any control over her anymore. I used to
Uh-huh.
have full rights, but when she moved to the nursing home in Long Beach, every time you change nursing homes, they get a new doctor and they ask the patient what they want. And so she
Oh.
took me off because she's not all there. But they said they like to
Oh.
give the patients their own choices. So now nobody's in charge of her
Mm.
anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
if she's in a nursing facility, they tend to under medicate, right? And when people are having the anxiety, whether because they're not letting go,
Yeah.
then I just like one little dose of lorazepam, even a half a milligram. It's like a glass of wine. It's not a big dose. It's just enough to take the edge off, and that seems to work.
Yeah.
That's my trick.
Nice.
Oh, I think my mom's a handful.
Yeah, sounds like it. And I want to say too, everybody has their own process. Sometimes we want to like, okay, what's taking them so long?
Mhm.
But remember, they have their own journey,
Mhm.
and I just allow the journey to be and be as helpful as I can, whatever I can, whatever you can do. You've already done everything. Just know you've already done everything you
Yeah.
could do.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. It's true. So I don't know how much longer we have. Let's see. Okay. When he starts playing the music, we have to be quiet, right?
Yeah, we're coming back in just a couple seconds.
Okay.
You're listening to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed with Kelley and Cheryl. If you have questions for the hosts or guests, you can join us on the show at 888-346-9141. That's 888-346-9141. Now let's get back to the show. Here again are Cheryl and Kelley.
And welcome back, everyone, to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. I'd like to take a moment and thank all of you for watching us live, or you can listen to us on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Kelley and I want to encourage you to go to our website, seeingbeyondradio.com. You can sign up for our mailing list there and also watch this show live, as well as our Facebook pages. Today, we're talking to medium Kim Copeland, and we are having a fabulous conversation. Kim, we were talking about the mind journey. So if you could just tell us a little bit more about the mind journey in the work that you do, we'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And it can be as simple or as complicated as you want. And I guess it would be kind of like a guided meditation for somebody who's in transition. And so for me, I would just sit quietly next to them and maybe even whisper. It doesn't have to be real loud, and just walk them through when you find out what their favorite place was. Maybe it's the beach or some vacation, or the Maui or whatever, you take them back into time to a place that they loved and allow them to go there in their heart and to relax into that place where it's peaceful. And that kind of brings, we can take our heart anywhere and find peace, hopefully, and then from there, open up to new possibilities, open up to new journeys ahead, and be willing to let go of the old and to see anew. So part of the process of leaving Earth is letting go of our attachments and reminding them that everything is okay, everything's taken care of, everybody's going to be okay. You list the people, maybe they're going to be fine. And we're so excited for you on your new adventure. And have a wonderful time. And you might even invite a mode of transportation. For instance, it could be a train or a bus or a horse or a spaceship or whatever, a big boat, something that they would resonate with. And invite that and just remind them that that boat is not going to be late. It's going to be right on time. Your bags are packed.
Yeah.
Right on time. It's time to go. And some people, if they come from a military background, for instance, and I've had this happen, I have to put on a different kind of a voice, like it's time to go. More of a military type. So because they're going to listen to that.
That's
Even
awesome.
if they're 100 and they have an 80-year-old son, they say, oh, well, he's not going to be okay without me, right?
Well, we have some great questions from people on Facebook and that have been emailed to us. So I just wanted to ask you a couple of these because I think they're good questions. And let me just open up my screen here. So from Jennifer Santos, she says she's been wondering the questions. I've been wondering this question for a while. Why some people come through for us and others just don't. Do
What do you mean as a medium, why some people come through and some don't?
No, I think just as anybody. I get this question a lot from my own clients. She said, for example, I lost an uncle in 2008 who was almost more like a brother and best friend. I feel he's come to me several times in my very vivid dreams, like I actually feel his embrace, but never has he came through in a reading. Same with my maternal grandparents, his parents. I've had my paternal grandparent father come through several times, and more recently my grandmother. Even my mom, who passed in 2020, just came through in a reading I had last month, but never had my maternal grandparents come through. Just curious if you can help explain that more.
Well, sure. And you guys probably know this too, but for me, it's like, what's their talent? What's their clair on the other side? We have our clairs on this side. They have their, some people are very clairsentient on the other side, or clairvoyant. And so I think that's where their talent is. If he comes in through the dream, that's where he's talented.
But I think she wants to know why the mediums don't always get them. And I think my answer would be like, they don't come through the medium, maybe because they don't resonate with the mediums that she's chosen.
Could be.
I always say, spirit chooses your medium, but sometimes, people might go with a medium that someone told them, but it wasn't one they resonated with, maybe. It wasn't the right medium for them. Or I don't know, there's lots of things.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult question to answer. And I have to say this too. My son came through right away, but when my best friend passed, she didn't come through right away. I mean, I saw her before she passed, and I felt her right after she passed, but then that was it. I didn't get dreams with her. I didn't get anything, and I was really distraught and very upset about it. And I know that my grief got in the way. It took about a year. So I know she's been waiting a long time, but I don't know if maybe it's her traumatic to the fact that she lost them and misses them still, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I feel like that would put blame on the sitter. And
I don't want to do that either,
right.
But trying to explain it in a way, like, I think it's a combination of many things, but I do think that our own grief interferes.
That can, But
I
just like some
mean,
people are good at doing the electricity, right? And some
yeah,
people don't, right? And it
That's
seems like
right.
more men are better at electricity than women. I don't know why is that? My
yeah,
grandmother doesn't almost never come through, and we were very close, but everybody else in the world does. So
yeah.
I think it's what they're comfortable with too. So it's nothing to blame.
No, I just wonder, and then there's this theory, and I don't know if I believe this or not, that sometimes, because I believe that our loved ones wait for us,
Uh-huh.
but I'm kind of a little bit open to this theory that sometimes, very rarely, somebody might choose to be reborn right again right away. But I
Mhm.
wonder, about that because I know that in my past life, I remember dying. I was 22, and I was immediately in the spirit world, watching my mom give birth to all of her first child, and watched all my siblings being born and chose to be born 13 years later.
Wow.
So I didn't wait for my family, and I wonder why. I don't know why I remember all of that.
Yeah. Well, I have a little different take on it.
Yeah.
The way I feel is we have this big oversoul that has multiple spirits.
Yes.
And
And we
so,
can be living at the same time, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that too. So I have a lot of different beliefs. It
yeah,
gets a
yeah,
little confusing, but I'm not sure which is right. But we have more questions, you guys. I'd love to ask
Ask
yeah.
because
Can
people
I
are,
just share something though?
yeah,
Okay, because I think I think it's important that if people are in the situation where they have a loved one transitioning,
Mhm.
I want to just let everybody know that they have the option to have a shared near-death awareness. So, and that would be as simple as it could be just sitting close to somebody and being in the quiet and allowing your consciousness, your awareness, your heart to flow with that person who's dying, to be with them where they are. And you can get a touch of heaven as well.
Because
Does that make
people,
sense?
yeah,
I do. I love that.
people ask that. Kim, I'm sure you get that asked a lot. Like, what can I do to help comfort my loved one who's transitioning? Like, what's my role in this? What can I do? Do I pray for them? Do I, so is that what you're suggesting, right? They sit by their side, they comfort them, they be present with them, right? They breathe with them even, just
Yeah.
sit and hold space.
That's
Kind
right.
of feeling.
Holding space. May or may not touch, because sometimes touch can be very sensitive. So
Mm.
you have to see how they react to touch. But you can always touch above the field.
Mhm.
You can always clear the energy. You can hold the bottoms of their feet because that gives them a grounding spot. So when we're ready to fly, we have to have something to jump from. And so if you hold the bottoms of their feet, then they gives them they can jump. It makes
A
sense?
springboard, a
Yeah,
diving.
a springboard. That's
Yeah.
right. So quiet, being in the stillness. But I'll just share a story. One time I was
Yes,
at
please.
a death visit, and it was a priest who had died. And as I'm talking to the family, I'm at the end of the room, right, away from him, and they're telling me the story about his life a little bit, that he was well loved and all this. And it was his niece and her husband. And as I get closer into his energy field within 3 feet, then I have walked in to another world. It was just the closeness here in that field, then I could see flowers all around him. I could hear the music. I saw outside at the top of his head, I saw green vines, and of each green vine or little leaf was a priest instead of a leaf. And there was like too many to count. And so when I saw this, I thought, oh wow, I just stepped through into his world. And I said to the family, I just imagine he's surrounded by roses. And the nephew said, I smell the flowers. So you see that it was like they were getting it too. And then I said, I think I'm hearing organ music. And then niece said, well, that was his favorite music, was the organ.
Oh,
And then so it's just so nice to have that confirmation. But then when I stepped away from him, I was like out of that field. So I
it's
think it's interesting.
very sacred. It's a very sacred time in their life, in your life, in the family's life. It really is something to honor, to have great reverence or respect for, because like you said, I do believe that when they're crossing over or weeks before even, or weeks after they've transitioned, I feel that field is still very open, and you and I or our loved ones, we're very emotional, the ones that are here, because we, like you said, we had that shared death experience, or what did you call it? A shared
near-death awareness.
Awareness. I love it. I love it. I love that name. A shared near-death awareness,
I
where
love it too.
your love for them opens you up to, maybe elevate your, I don't know, your awareness, your vibration, your love, where it's even stronger, or it's even more deeply felt, more sensitive.
Yes.
I love
It's
it.
definitely a time to go within if you allow yourself.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, ladies, in the comments here, on the chat, I posted
Okay.
questions
Great.
from Facebook because Brianna sent them to me. So if
Okay.
you guys,
Thank you,
if you want
Brianna.
to look through and answer any of them, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I think there was a little confusion. Vivian said they have Claire's on the other side. So so I don't know if you want to clarify that. I know what you meant, but I mean, it did sound a little like that, but maybe they do. But I mean, I don't think we'd call them Claire's on the other side, right?
Right. I don't think you call them clears. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. But I guess what I mean is, you know how some people come in with feelings. That's how they come through. But as a medium, we feel their feelings, and they're really good at showing us their feelings. Some spirits come through and they show us a lot of visual. So that's what I mean. They just seem to be better at certain things, I've noticed.
So when I get one that shows me more pictures, I know that they were creative.
Uh-huh.
Probably.
Um,
Yeah.
And then when I get one where I'm getting a billion thoughts in my head at once, I know they had a high IQ.
Uh-huh.
These are like my clues because their brain just never stops, right?
Yeah.
And when I get one that's very emotional, I know they were very strong and very sensitive and empathic.
Mhm.
You know, and if I get one that has all three, then I'm like, oh my gosh, the spirit's amazing. Like,
Uh-huh.
right? Because it's sort of like that's how they would have been in life, is my clue.
Right, right. And they're shy. If they were shy in life, then they're a little shy, maybe coming through in the beginning. Or if they were very loud and boisterous and extrovert, they come knocking down the barn door, so to speak. Or yes, so they're very much the personality and the soul survival, right, is still intact, the mind, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Here's another great question, and I think we may have answered this, but maybe she missed this part. Sherry says, can you pass over and then come back to visit right away? Yes.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. They do.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I think I've knocked on doors, to do a condolence visit, and there's a spirit sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very close. The first 3 months, especially, they seem to be at least my experience,
Yes. Very active, right?
very active to be nearby. Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
Can I ask him, your work as a medium now? So you've taken all this experience, you're still a hospice nurse, and we want to thank you again for that, and being a nurse. So, and a medium too, because you're helping to heal people, and you really can connect with the spirit world and Mother Mary and the angels and animals and guides. So can you tell us, so in your work as a medium, are you seeing people in person right now? Are you doing phone readings or Zoom? Like, what is your life as a medium? Where are you? How can people connect with you?
Oh yeah, I usually do Zoom readings.
Zoom.
I mean,
Okay.
sometimes phone, but most of the time Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
So, and I would say I have a lot of people who connect, who, ask for me because maybe of my hospice experience, or just for whatever, I don't know, they just find me somehow.
Spirit led them your way, right? Well, why don't you tell everybody how they could reach you?
Okay, so I do have a website, mediumkim.com, and I also have a YouTube channel. And on my YouTube channel, I do a variety of things. Sometimes I do guided meditations. I will talk about hospice sometimes. I will also talk about mediumship or intuition. So I do kind of a variety. I also love to do color readings. Color is really important to me. I do auragraphs. I draw the auras. And,
Oh,
you know,
I
and when
love
I do
it.
that, then I feel into those colors, right? Even though orange doesn't mean the same for every person, but I feel into that, you know, and get the story around that. So I do that as well. And on Tuesdays, I have what's called healings and readings. It's a live on Tuesday afternoon. And people, it's on YouTube. And then they'll I do little mini readings, and people ask about the colors or healings. So it's kind of a combination. I'm thinking I might need to separate the healings and readings on different times, but that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, I
I-
love that.
And
And I love that you use colors, because colors, just like sound, are also healing, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've started, you know, talking about mind journeys. I sometimes in my readings, I'll take people on a mind journey during the reading for healing or for whatever. And sometimes I will say, sometimes we do little unusual things. We might go off planet, you know.
Oh, I'm there.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like to a different planet.
Yeah.
well, what time? Well,
I'm coming.
we're coming. What time is your YouTube? Every Tuesday, you said
Yeah,
you go live on
5:15.
YouTube at
5:15
Pacific.
on Central.
Central. Okay, so
Central,
it's like,
yeah.
Central. Okay,
that's
Yeah.
like 4:15 our time, isn't it? Or is
I
it
think it would be
3:15
3:15.
3:15. Okay. Got it.
and
Yeah.
your YouTube channel is Medium Kim, which is one word, right?
Right.
Medium Kim for YouTube, everyone. And I so appreciate you sharing that live. I mean, it sounds like a fun
It
meditation
does.
you do. And Kelley, we have to go.
We have to go. Let's put on our calendar. I want to go.
We're going to join
Well, I
you.
don't do the mind journeys on that live, but I do the mind journeys more when I'm one-on-one.
Oh,
Because
then I
that's
need to book a
very-
reading with you.
Oh, okay. Well, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
go
and
off
I'm going to be
planet.
going to, I'm a little bit, you know, have a lot of different interests, and
I love it.
I'm going to be going to Mount Shasta soon.
Oh,
You
that's not far from me. Let me know
Well-
when. I think that's like a 3-hour drive.
Okay. Also, I'll let you know. I mean, like this month, I'm going this month.
I've been one time, and I've been wanting to go back ever since. We only drove through. I never got to visit.
I have a friend who just moved there from South Carolina, and we're going to go up to the mountain and meditate. And we have a lot of meditation activities. So, well, Kelley, you're welcome.
I will come drive up for the day or the night and just come visit you and get a hotel.
Yeah.
And maybe meditate with you guys in the mountain.
Yes.
I love that. It's beautiful there.
Very
Yes.
healing.
Healing, right? Healing and, you know, high vibrations, and you never know who you're going to meet.
This is true. So true. Maybe we'll connect to some aliens out there.
I know. Well, the Lemurians, you know, there's a whole thing about the Lemurians.
Yes.
Is
Yes,
there?
I'll bring my Lemurian crystals with me.
I have a Lemurian crystal too.
I have a bunch. So Vivian asked another question, which is a really good question. And I think a lot of people, you know, this happens. I get this from a lot of my clients, and I'm sure you do, Kim. What about those who feel a lot of guilt because they weren't there at the moment of passing?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer that, Kim? I mean,
Sure.
I have my own answer, but I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're all in agreement on this. It's just the way that they wanted it normally, right? Because I think we plan it. I mean, the person in transition, they know, even though they're in a coma, they know what's going on. Just because their body's smaller, their spirit's bigger, they have their spiritual eyes open, their spiritual ears open. They know who's there, who's not there, and are they comfortable going? Sometimes they don't want to leave. It's too heartbreaking to leave a family holding their hand.
Yeah, it's hard.
Certainly.
It's hard.
So I think they go when it's right for them. And then, yeah, there's no guilt. And it's actually, you always just think it's perfect the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I always say, you know, a lot of times just because you weren't there with them and physically, you were there with them emotionally and you were
Yes.
connected. They come to visit you,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, I love that too.
And
of course, yeah, go
And
ahead.
we've heard that, you know, sometimes our loved ones may pass away by themselves because is it their choice, or they felt more comfortable? Like, you know, you've heard stories about as soon as I left the room, or as soon as I
Oh, yeah,
said
you hear that
goodbye
all
and
the
I went home,
time.
they passed. And I always wonder, but that do you think that, Kim, maybe that they felt more comfortable, or it was just the right time for them?
I know, I think they planned it that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I always tell
sometimes-
families to leave. I say, go take a coffee break. Tell
Yeah.
them, say, I'm going to be back in 10 minutes. We're going to go get coffee or whatever. We're going to get dinner. And so that gives them an opportunity. You don't want to be there
Yeah.
24/7 because
No.
give them some time alone.
Right. They want some peace.
Yes.
So we have about 2 minutes left.
Mm.
It's been amazing talking to you, Kim.
Oh,
I
Kim.
love
Thank you.
talking to you. I love everything you've said today. And I appreciate all that you do, you know, as a hospice nurse, as a medium, as a healer, as everything, right? It's amazing. And I want to remind people how to get in touch with you. Mediumkim.com. Easy, very simple. And I also want to remind everybody, next week, Cheryl and I are going on the show, no guest, and we're just going to be focused on our listeners. We will be doing readings, taking calls, the whole show. So make sure not to miss next week. And any questions that we didn't get to in the past, we're going to try to answer next week. So if you emailed us questions and we have not answered them, please show up next week, because we're going to try to go through and answer all those questions too. So thank you. And
Thank you.
Cheryl?
Thank you. And thank you everybody for watching. And thank you all, you two lovely ladies, for allowing me to share with you.
Beautiful.
It's been our joy to have you, Kim. I mean, we feel like we've been touched by an angel today in today's program. Thank you for blessing us with your knowledge and expertise, and sharing your life with us. It's truly been a blessing. And really, just for everyone, please join us again. You can watch this replay or this recording on Voice America or on seeingbeyondradio.com. Come on down to seeingbeyondradio.com and join our mailing list and be part of the Seeing Beyond community. We'd love to have you there. So thank you, everyone. Again, have a blessed day. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
You are clear.